Well, here we are in the heat of the matter. You might say, well, Jeff, what does that mean? Well, here is the Swan 700 CX from hell that I just installed two 6CL6 tubes in. And to quote a famous ex-president, which we'll name unnamed, that was a disaster. One of the 6CL6s seemed shorted, and it was causing the power supply to black out, causing the radio to black out and unkey, and it was just plain ugly. It didn't blow the fuse in the power supply. Anyway, so what do you see here? An abomination, right? So here's what was in there. These were the sockets for the, looks like I forgot to put those in. Crap. 1 ohm resistors. That'll probably throw my, throw something off. Or not. Who knows? Anyway, I took this stuff out and I tried to faithfully reproduce, except for these little guys there. Let's see what'll happen without those. I did put in some 6146 octal sockets, and that was simply a matter of really unscrewing this assembly here. And look how nice and neat they had it, though. I mean, it's so precise. And look at this hack job I have. I just tried to use what wiring was left over and get it on the right pins. So how do you decide what is on the right pins? Well, I just followed the schematic, tried to do it verbatim. So, and I'm trying to find my glasses. There they are. Okay, here we go. Now I can see again. So here's the schematic for the 8950s, and here's a pinout of the tube for the 6146. So I just tried to match up, grids 1, 2, and 3. Obviously, grid number 1 here is being fed bias and being fed the RF signal. That is a, screen grid, and that grid's grounded. So this grid was basically grounded, and the 6146 kind of grounds these internally to the cathode. So that's inherent now. I didn't have to mess with that. We'll see how that works out. It's a little different than what they had here, but we'll see. And so these are probably used to get it accurate. So I'm going to have to put these resistors in before I fire this puppy up. 1 ohm, 2 watts. I'll probably have some of those around somewhere. So I got to put those in before I fire this thing up, or else it's not going to work right. Those are imperative. So I didn't put those in yet, but everything else is done pretty much. The screen resistors, 100 ohm resistors here on the screen grid, which is the middle grid. That middle grid on this tube is pin number 3. So you come down here and say, okay, where's the 100 ohm resistors? Well, there they are, right there's one there. There's one there, and looks like pin 3 to me, right? So there's pin 3 right there. And that goes to the little 100 ohm resistor, and pin 3 here is right there. So those are the screens. I fed grid number 1 with the RF signal and the bias. So this choke is from the bias circuit. And this crude little wire here, I couldn't replicate what they did. Pin 5 over to pin 5, and then I feed in the bias and I feed the RF in this way. So sure enough, pin 5 is indeed the first grid there. You can see pin 5 is the first grid above the cathode. And on this thing here, the first grid is the same thing. It's not pin 5. Oh, yes it is. Look at that. Something agreed, didn't it? So that's all been done. The top screen is grounded. The middle screen, as we know, goes to the 100 ohm resistors. The heaters are all wired up, so the heaters are 2 and 7, and we got 12 volts coming in here for the heater. Pin 7 right there, pin 2 here goes to pin 7, and no, it's pin 2, and pin 7 here is grounded. So that's the heater wiring, and there's not much more to do. I think all I have to do is add those 1 ohm resistors, and we're all set. So to make sure nothing is shorted. So yeah, so the screen, or no, this is the cathode return. So the cathode return is coming in through here onto pin 4, and I'm kind of being a little lenient there, but, or a little messy, Millie. Pin 4, as you can see, goes to the cathode and goes to pin 1. So I'm being a little egregious there, but I'm using the internal connection of a tube, which might be a bad thing. But anyway, that's pin 4. And then pin 1 is this blue wire here. Let's make sure that's right. Looks like pin 1 to me. Cathodes are returned. So now I need to put like a 1/2 ohm resistor to ground, I guess, on this thing. And it's going to be done, I suppose. Let's see. So they have a 1 ohm resistor, 2 watt to ground, and another 1 ohm resistor, I think. What is it? So they got a 1/2 ohm to ground, because 2 1 ohms in parallel is 1/2 an ohm. So I got to come up with 1/2 an ohm somewhere. Just get 2 1 ohms and put them in parallel if I can find a couple of those. And then try and fire this radio up. So that is the story. This thing's ready to go. I just got to put the tubes in and put 1/2 an ohm to ground on the cathode, and I think this thing will go. We'll see. I mean, it can blow up in my face. Who knows? I think I did it right, but I've done a couple drakes like this, and the results weren't outstanding. And seeing as this thing is supposed to put out, the other radio puts out 400 watts carrier with sleep tubes. I don't think I'm ever going to get 400 watts carrier with these 6146 tubes. These are the best ones they make, or made, 6146Bs. These are the higher wattage tubes with better tolerance, but these little babies are going to get 950 volts on their plates, and I don't think they're going to like that, but tough luck. We're going to see what these babies do. With 950 frickin' volts on their plates, they're going to be treated like sleep tubes, I suppose, because I haven't really modified anything. All right, so I got to find some 1/2 ohm resistors and get them in there. And then we'll go to the exciting part where there's sparks, smoke, confusion. See if it works or not. Yeah, I don't know. I thought about rebuilding this whole RF deck. If this works, and these two 6146s are copacetic, I almost want to get like another piece of metal and put 3 6146s here in a row and see what that'll do. That'd probably give me 300 watts out, continuous, you know, without any kind of sleep tube BS, but I don't know. Maybe sleep tubes were the best. They're hard to get, and the people selling sleep tubes are not very honest. That's kind of what turned me off tonight and sent me on this wave of frenzy of putting these sockets in here. I still got to solder this thing to ground to get it conducting better than these little bolts can provide. But I'll try it with the bolts, see how it works. Anyway, this is kind of maybe a fool's errand. I don't know. We'll see how it works. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great day.